Minimalism, cognitive focus, consciousness. Whatever we invest in intellectually or emotionally, we will nurture the faculties and skills used in that investment of focus, energy, and time. What we minimize to the basic imperatives of needed function will be the optimization of those faculties and talents of investment. Depending on the radius, expanse of his focus, we reach an absolute quality of the optimization we may achieve. Such achievement at whatever level of dedicated focus investment is an admirably good accomplished thing. I'm hypothesizing that as we cull and pare the expanse of our focus to its most abstract terms, we will have reduced our individual psychological noise to a level where other cognitive signals beyond our preferred predispositions come to our awareness and attendings. Not all those other cognitive signals will be of immediate or long-term functional relevance to us. Those that do become significant will modify our attention receptors enough to change the nature that we perceive the phenomena we witness. Those changes that are stimulating enough will increase our metabolism to a noticeable level of vitality, which will give greater importance and vitality to those stimulating signals. Such signals will enable a defining articulation for the engagement that you have with them. Certain engagements whose advent to you or your inquisitorial pursuit of them will precipitate phenomena when in a close correlated association of logic narrative, not necessarily logical, to you. It's within this framework of subjective interpretation that the meaning of the encounter and engagement has more to do with your logic's historical dialectic. If that dialectic has a discernible purpose and meaningfulness to you, then a paradigm for you to form and guide your behavioral discipline will emerge, no matter what others' observations of you or estimation of your narrative experience means to them. When your interpretation is in a sequence of affirming consequential results that coincide with situations and circumstances that both directly and indirectly affect you repeatedly, you give a credibility to the nature of those dynamics. And those dynamics have provided a perspective track validating fortuitous and long-term results. Your own attitude predispositions orient themselves to be in a more aligned juxtaposition of those dynamics and away from previous orientations of thinking. When your interpretation is in a sequence of affirming concepts that coincide with the situations and circumstances that both directly and indirectly affect you repeatedly, you give a credibility to the nature of those dynamics. When those dynamics have provided a track validating fortuitous and long-term results, your own attitude predispositions orient themselves to be in a more aligned juxtaposition of those dynamics and away from previous orientations of thinking. At this point, the or a significant reorientation of your perceptions and predispositions from your former pattern of thought and behavior will give to you or also to others a more idiosyncratic distinction that could estrange and disaffectuate you from the social mores and cultural cohesion you had prior to your orientation. The more distinguishment you and others recognize between you and them will be the noted diversion of consciousness features that now exist. This divergence over time will cause separate trajectories of preferred associations and behavior that are incidental to such divergences. When the outcomes of these associations of behavior affect certain social outcomes, that's where the thinking that led to those outcomes, a consciousness, has created its cast of caste for the social and cultural groupings that represent those behaviors and their outcomes. The intangible thinking behind the attitude for the behaviors derived from what we physically engage and ingest for our physical and mental appetites. The selection for our engagement and ingestion is, in many instances, not what would be our preferred, but what was our accommodated choice option. Thus, our collective consciousness is from a variety of levels and sources. How we transit and transact the navigation we do from the initial levels and their source locales influences the behavior and conscious operation system under which we exist. What props and trappings we utilize are the instrumentality baggage we carry. Some people have the logistical means for their chosen instrumentalities. Some of those means are dependent or codependent of the mutual or leveraged cooperation from others. I will assert that those whose instrumentalities are primarily derived from the acumen of their intellectual grasp of engineering abstract concepts rather than engineered manipulation of tangible resources have the advantage. That advantage comes from the indefinite access to abstract thought resources versus the zero sum quantity. The resulting efforts to gain and control of abstract and material resources will have different modalities of nature and technique. The tangible acquisitions have more to do with kinetic physical force in the operation's success than the abstraction acquisition that has more to do with the neurological mental kinetics for its success. My speculations into the neurological mental kinetics have brought me to a hypothesis that the historical and contemporary energies of inorganic and organic matter have an internal vibrational presence. Those whose sensory receptors are not burdened with the temporal or contemporary baggage and who've encountered and engaged the abstractions that exist collaterally intermixed in our contemporaneity have developed a neurological network that allows for most associations and collations of stimuli data. That data in certain arrangements enables a parallel to alternative narrative of existence and its operation. The more successful insights are contemporaneously known in either the physical or medical kinetics as ingenious. The more esoteric and sublime I will call oracular oracular because they tell us of dispositions that are futuristic to prophetic. Rising. Such abilities to do that, I think, derive from discrete abstract associations and collations of incidental phenomenological encounters and conscious, disciplined, monastic, focused investigation into those phenomenological encounters. It's this esoteric pursuit in behavior that creates a cast of consciousness with its abstract sources. Hello, you partakers in this composition. If it has spurred thought, inspiration, or motivation, show whatever monetary appreciation at the PayPal QR code or the Cash App link on my pics. Thanks much. Your pal, Lucifer's Heretic.